Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and you can see I'm back in my Buildcraft 3.0 test world because I'm starting to create a couple machines that I want to demonstrate for you guys just to show you how awesome this update is and the crazy stuff you'll be able to build. So the first thing I created is right over here. It's a pretty simple system. If anybody's watched my Let's Play series, you've probably seen me set up a steam engine to speed up the heating of a redstone engine. And basically what it is redstone engines go from blue to green to orange and then to flashing red. And once they get up to the orange stage, they're running pretty well. But in the blue and green stage, they're running kind of slow, and I don't like how long it takes for them to get up to the orange stage. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll place a cobblestone engine next to the redstone engine, and that'll be like a kind of a speed booster. The cobblestone engine makes the redstone engine accelerate to the orange stage faster. And what I have to do is manually enable this guy and, have a separate switch wired to the cobblestone engine, because if I leave it on after it hits the orange or red stage, it'll cause the redstone engine to blow up. And that's a very manual and frustrating process. So what I've done is I've taken Space Toad's redstone, his logic system here, and I'm using diamond gates. You could probably do this with gold gates, but I'm using a couple of them here. I'm using an AND gate and I'm using an OR gate, and I've set up an automated system whereby what'll happen is, if I activate this redstone signal, you'll see that it automatically activates both of the engines. The redstone engine is running, and the cobblestone engine is running. Now keep an eye on what happens here. You'll see that the blue wire is also active on the pipes. Now that it's hit the green stage, it's stopped activating the signal. And that's because I had my thing set up wrong. Now that it's at the green stage, it's changed from the blue wire to the green wire is active. And watch what happens once we hit the orange stage. It automatically turned off the steam engine. So we have an automated system to activate this redstone engine and instantly get them up to the orange stage, at which point the steam engine automatically turns itself off. So let's look at how this works, because it's a pretty simple system. You should also note that as soon as I turn off the redstone lever, both engines are off. And let's say it wasn't at the orange stage yet, turning off the redstone lever turns off both engines either way. So let's look at how that works. So how did we set this up? First off, this redstone wire triggers the redstone engine all by itself. So that's nothing magical. Next, if we look at this gate, it's a diamond AND gate, and I basically have two conditionals set up. If the redstone signal is on and the engine is blue, emit a blue pipe signal, which is that blue wire there. If the redstone signal is on and the engine is green, the redstone engine that is, emit a green pipe signal. Over here I have an OR gate. This says if you're receiving a blue pipe signal or you're receiving a green pipe signal, emit a redstone signal, which activates this redstone wire, which activates this steam engine. You can see that because I don't have any conditionals for orange or red, it won't do anything when it hits the orange or red stage. You can also see that the current active line here is blue, because the engine is currently blue. However, because it's not receiving a redstone signal, and this is an AND gate, not an OR gate, it's not emitting a blue pipe signal. So let's turn on our switch again and look at the conditionals. You can see that now the redstone signal is on, but the engine is currently in the blue stage, so it's emitting a blue pipe signal because both conditionals are met. And this redstone wire is on, activating the steam engine. As soon as this guy switches to green, we're now matching the condition of a green engine and a redstone signal, and we're no longer matching the blue conditions. So now the green pipe signal is active, continuing to activate the steam engine. And as soon as we hit the orange stage, we've got the redstone signal conditionals, but we're not matching the blue engine or the green engine conditionals. So neither of these are matching, so we're not emitting either a green or a blue pipe signal. The color of the wires I just made to match the engine color. That was just, aesthetic on my part. It's no real, you could use any color wire you want. It doesn't matter what color wires you use. Over at the OR gate, you can see that either the blue pipe signal or the green pipe signal would emit the redstone signal. So now that neither of those wires are on, we're not emitting a redstone signal, and the steam engine automatically turns itself off. So that's pretty awesome. I can now just flip off the lever, and we can see that even though we're at the green stage now, we're not getting a redstone signal, so it's not activating the green pipe signal. And as soon as the engine cools down to blue, we'll see that in a moment, will be at the same condition up here. The blue engine is active, but the redstone signal is not, so we're not emitting a blue pipe signal. So that's a way to create an automatic redstone engine booster system. Now, of course, you're going to have to manually replace your coal unless you set up some kind of tubing system, which would be a little bit more advanced, but not terribly hard. The next system I want to show you is a way to automatically ensure that your engines always have enough fuel and water in them. I started to show something like this in my last episode, and it didn't work terribly well, and I know the reason for that, and I've corrected it, at least in my head, and I'm about to find out if it worked. So let's take a look. First off, we want to check out this gold engine over here. I've basically set it up so that it's an AND gate, and it says if the blue pipe signal is on, that little blue wire, and there's liquid in the tank, yep, there's liquid in there, then emit a redstone signal, and that redstone signal will turn on the redstone engine. So because the blue line is not on, and this is an AND gate, it's not emitting the signal yet. Down here, I'm going to replicate the same thing, only I'm going to say if the yellow pipe signal is on, and there's room in the tank, or there's liquid in the tank, emit a redstone signal. So the same deal, pretty much. Okay. Okay, I didn't have the conditional set properly, that's why a brief little bit just went through. It activated briefly before I had this guy turned on. Okay, so that's all working properly. Now let's look at the way this engine should be set up with the pipes next to it. First we have this diamond gate here, okay? And I'm going to clear out these buckets, and I'm going to give myself a water bucket, and I'm going to give myself a fuel bucket. And this is the fuel line, so basically what I want to say is, if there is space for liquid, and you can see this thing opens up, I'm going to place my fuel bucket in there. So this is basically saying if there's space for fuel. And the line is currently active because there is space for fuel. And let's go sleep through the night. So what do I want to happen when there's space for fuel? I want it to activate the blue pipe signal, which it just did. Now, this gold AND gate both has its blue pipe signal and there's liquid in the tank, so it's going to start pumping liquid over into this guy. And we can see him happily filling up. So why don't I skip ahead a moment until this guy's all the way full. Alright, so he's getting pretty full here, just a little bit more to go, and we'll watch what happens to this guy. So you remember in my last episode that even though there was space for water, this guy didn't turn off. That's because I didn't specify what kind of space should be available. Now that I've told it that there should only be space for fuel, this line turned off. And you can see that the redstone engine has turned itself off. And what will happen is, as soon as it uses some of the fuel, it'll recognize that there's now space for fuel, and it'll send the blue line back, turn on the pump, it'll fill the thing back up, and it'll turn off again. So this guy will automatically keep running. And we're going to basically do the same thing here. We're going to say if there's space for liquid on the left, liquid tank, space for liquid in tank, and there is space for some kind of liquid. Now if I chose fuel, it wouldn't work because there is no space for fuel. But what we want this line to do is space for water. There is space for water, and we want to tell it to activate the yellow pipe signal, which it just did, and ta-da, it's pumping some water over for us. And the same deal as with the fuel is once the water is full, it'll turn off this redstone engine, and it'll no longer ask for water. Now, I personally recommend that if you're going to have some kind of water cooling system, to have it running pretty much all the time, because you're going to need to, especially when you're running on fuel. But this is just an example of what you can do. It's a good idea maybe to use your fuel for this method, but water you probably want to just continue to pump in as much as you can all the time. Next up, I've given myself a flattener and connected it to a power relay, a power system connected to some of these engines. And you can see I've got AND gates on all the engines. So what am I up to? Let's take a quick look. So right now, I've got this machine here, this filler, and I've set it up on this little area here. And as you know with fillers, when you place items in the array, like so, you can see that it turns to green on top, meaning that it has work to do still. And if you don't have a valid object in here, it turns red. And once it's done with its work, so let's say that the flattener was complete, it would turn from green to red. Luckily, Space Toad added some logic into this, and he set it up so that when it's connected to a machine, there's a machine on state. And as you can see, it currently is turned on. The machine is considered on because it has work to do. It's not actually running, so that's the big difference. The machine on means that the machine has something to do, not whether or not it's currently functioning. Machine off means that it doesn't have work to do, which is obviously not true in this case. You can also see, just because I am connected to a power pipe, there's power traversing as an option here as well. So let's check out machine on, and let me sleep through the night real quick. So what I'm going to do, because I want a flattened area right here, and I want it to be full of cobblestone, so let's just put some cobblestone in there. That should be enough for this small little area. Why don't I actually turn this off? So right now the machine does not have any work to do, and you can see the machine on state. Well, it seems to think that the machine on state is still active, so why don't I just see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some work to do, and it should be considered machine on. And I'm going to tell the machine on to emit a blue wire signal. And over here I've got the blue wire signal set up to emit a redstone signal. So basically what will happen is I'm setting up an automated kill switch. Once the machine is done, it should turn off this blue wire signal, which will stop emitting redstone and automatically turn off these combustion engines. So let's see what happens if I go ahead and toggle this to emit a blue pipe signal. You can see all my engines turned on, my flattener is running, and it should be considered off at this stage, but for whatever reason it doesn't look like it's working with the filler. But otherwise it would have turned off the blue pipe signal and pretty much turned off the redstone engines. So why don't I set that up with a slightly different system. So I just connected a refinery here, and it looks like it's properly emitting. It's not, the machine is not on, as in it doesn't have any work to do, so it's not sending the blue pipe signal. So let's see if this machine works. I'm going to grab some oil, and I'm going to throw it in the machine. You can see now that there's work for this thing to do, it's emitting its machine on signal, and it's sending a blue pipe signal over, which turned on the engines. Let's give this refinery a minute to refine all this fuel. And what should happen is as soon as it's done refining the fuel, it won't have any more work to do, so it'll stop emitting this blue pipe signal. The machine will no longer be considered on, and it should automatically turn off my combustion engines back there. So this is a nice way to have an automated system that basically says only run my engines when I have something for them to do. This will no longer cause you to waste fuel from your engines when the quarry stops running, when there isn't any work to do by your refinery, etc. So let's see, it looks like the fuel's almost done being processed here. The oil's pretty low in that machine, and if this works properly, the blue pipe signal should shut off, like I said, and my combustion engines will shut off. Oh, there they go. Everything just shut off automatically. So this is an automated built-in kill switch. Again, you use a diamond gate, or some kind of gate, gold would probably work as well, and go with the machine on state, and choose a pipe signal. And then down here, you want a gate that says when the blue pipe signal's on, emit a redstone signal. You could also combine this with a lever if you wanted to. I didn't, but if you wanted to, you could basically say, with an AND gate, you also need a redstone signal to be on to emit the redstone signal. Now if we give this guy more fuel, and I only did it on that one gate as an example, you'll have to work a little bit to get it to work, but oh, you know what? This guy's emitting a redstone signal. So you can see this guy's no longer running because he doesn't have a redstone signal. But if I flip the lever, he does have a redstone signal and he's going to emit his energy. So that works. So I'm going to wrap up this episode. I hope I've given you guys some really good ideas on the neat things you can do with all these systems. There's a ton more that's potential, and I think in my Let's Play episodes or my server plays, depending on when this guy goes public, I'll definitely be incorporating some of these designs and probably a good bit more as I play. I definitely recommend you guys stay tuned to check that out. And like I've said in the past, once Minecraft is Gold release, which I believe was just announced to be happening within a week, and all the mods that I like to play are updated, I'm going to go ahead and start a new Let's Play series. What I'll probably tell you guys is you're going to probably be looking at early December, depending on when the mods come out, but it'll probably be early December at the earliest that I can start doing a new Let's Play series. But don't worry, I've got plenty of videos upcoming for you guys before then. So this is Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed checking out some of the really neat machines that you can make using Buildcraft 3.0. Go ahead and take it easy, everybody. Adios.